On previous day, there was the question in the Deva's mind. What is to be done before the body breaks down, before one dies? And knowing this question, Buddha, Namitta Buddha asked the question and the real Buddha answered. And on previous day, we have been talking about the answer given in the first verse. Before one's body breaks down and dies, one should be free from tasna craving. One should not be attached in the past. One should not be longing for what will come in the future. And in the present, one should not be in the list of person who has kilesa defilement. Not being mindful at the moment of seeing, for example. If one is not being mindful, seeing desirable objects, lobha, greed can arise. Seeing undesirable objects, if one is not mindful, there can be dosa, anger. And seeing neutral objects, if one is not mindful, there can be delusion, not knowing correctly. In this way, not being mindful at the moment of seeing, for example, there can be lobha, greed, dosa, anger, moha, delusion, and so on. And if these defilements arise, one will be in the list of persons who does unwholesomeness, and the person will be in the list of ones who can go to apaya. Not being mindful at the moment of seeing, hearing, lobha, dosa, defilements such as lobha, dosa arises. And if the lobha, dosa that arises, that are strong, the person does wholesome and unwholesome action based on the lobha, dosa, and the defilements. So based on these defilements, if the person does unwholesome deeds, it can lead to apaya, and the person will be in the list of beings who will go to apaya. And based on the defilements such as lobha, dosa, the person can also cultivate wholesome deeds in order to get what they want, if not now, in the future. So in this way, based on what has been heard, based on what has been seen, what has been heard, if they desire, if they want to have such things in the future, they perform wholesome deeds, such as giving, offering, dana, keeping the precepts. So in this way, based on lobha, greed, wanting good things in the future, One performs wholesome deeds such as dana and sila that gives further assistances such as human lives, deva lives, and if the person practices samatha practice, there will be Brahma assistance in the future. So in this way, based on greed, one performs wholesome deeds that give rise to further assistances. And seeing, hearing undesirable objects, if one is not mindful, there, there can be anger that arises. Based on the anger that arises, seeing, hearing things, being unmindful, one out of this anger, one performs wholesome deeds in order to get desirable things in the future that lead to further existences. In this way, at the moment of seeing, hearing, if one is not mindful, then based on the defilements, one commits wholesome and unwholesome action that give rise to further existences. And thus, the person is in the list of beings who will have further existences. In order not to be in the list of beings who will have further existences, one should be mindful at the moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and knowing. By being mindful of whatever object that arises at the sixth sense door, one should be mindful. One should be mindful of the nama rupa that are arising at the present moment. Being mindful of the present arising object, putting effort in noting the object, the mindfulness sticking onto the object, the mind being concentrated on the object. And when these viriya, sati, samadhi are strong, one discerns the nature of the object, unique individual characteristics such as hardness, softness, and so on. And practicing further, one also comes to discern the common characteristics of impermanent, suffering, and non-self. Noting presently arising objects, discerning the impermanence. While noting the object, one notices arising of the object as well as dissolution of the object. Discerning the dissolution after its arisen, one sees it as impermanent. In this way, if one comes to discern this impermanence, one will not be in the midst of greedy, angry, or deluded person based on the objects that are arising at the present moment. Not having kilesa defilement based on this present object, there will not be unwholesome deeds. The person will not be in the list of beings who are doing unwholesomeness. And also, not having defilements, there will not be wholesome deeds that lead to further existences. In this way, by discerning the presently arising object, there will not be further resultants, and thus the person will not be in the list of further existences. In order not to be in the list, one should be mindful, one should be discerning every arising object. So in every arising object that are arising in the future, based on it, by being mindful and discerning, one will not be in the list. In order not to let Loba, Dosa, Moha arise, in order not to give any chance for these defilements to rise, one should be mindful of every arising object continuously, noting, rising, falling, sitting, touching, thinking, pain, sadness, sad, happy, seeing, hearing, lifting, moving, lifting, bending, stretching, turning. In this way, if the yogi is keep on noting continuously on whatever object that is arising at the present moment, there will not be chance of these defilements. Yogi is not giving any chance for these defilements to arise. And thus, there will not be unwholesome deeds because there are no defilements arising. There are no unwholesome deeds, as well as there is no wholesome deed that give rise to further assistance. In this way, by being mindful, discerning the present arising object, being mindful, discerning for one moment, for that moment, there is no deed that gives rise to further assistance. So in this way, every time yogi notes the object, for that moment, yogi is mindful and discerning. Yogi will not be in the list. If there is one moment of being mindful and discerning correctly for that moment, there will not be any deed that gives to further existences, and thus yogi is not in the list at the moment of being mindful and discerning. As one becomes an arahat, there will be no list at all. But a puthujjana is the person who has all the list. A puthujjana has all the list. A puthujjana is included in the list to become a human, deva, apaya, hell, animal, ghost. That's a puthujjana. one is included in all the list. But a Sotapanna, for a Sotapanna, the list is not as many as Puthujjana. As a Sotapanna is in the list of becoming human, Deva, Brahma, for 7 lives. Sakadagami is fewer lists than the Sotapanna, fewer lives. Anagami only is in the list to become Brahma, will not come back to the sensual world. Arahat is the one who doesn't have any list. All the lists have been cleared when becoming an Arahat. So now yogis who are practicing, yogi who is mindful and discerning the object that has been noticed, yogi is not in the list for that moment. In this way, one should be mindful, one should discern, so as to be, not to be in the list of further existences for that moment. So if there is one moment of being mindful, discerning for that moment, yogi is clear in the list of further existences for one moment. In this way, we should work moment by moment, one after another, in order to clear the list until at least a Sotapanna, where the list is getting few, and of course, being an Arahat, when one gets to this final goal of being an Arahat, all the lists will be clear. Then we go on to the second verse. Akodano, meaning not angry. So before one body breaks, before one life ends, one should reach the state where one doesn't become angry. For ordinary people, if they are not mindful, if they come across undesirable objects and undesirable things, there can be anger. Sotapanna and Sakadagami, if they come across undesirable objects, if they are not mindful, they can be angry, but the frequency and the intensity will be fewer than those of ordinary people. As a Puthujjana, the anger that arises in a Puthujjana, it can lead to apaya. But the anger that arises in a Sotapanna and Sakadagami, it will not lead to apaya. Dosa has the nature of being rough and gross. And it is said that dosa is compared to a cobra. So when a cobra has been touched by something, it will become and it will hit, and then it will make ready to strike. In the same way, dosa is just like a cobra. If something unpleasant happens, then dosa arises out of control. Some people, they say, don't do this to me. I will, I will not tolerate, and spark will come. There will be flames or spark. In this way, some people, they are sensitive. They don't even tolerate, not even a word. Loba greed is subtle and it's not as obvious. Dosa is more gross and rough, and it is more obvious than Loba. And it is said that dosa anger reports the condition of the person who has it. It is like dosa reporting the condition that this person is aggressive, angry. This person does not have any control of his temper, her temper. In this way, it is like dosa is reporting the condition of the person, that this person is aggressive, angry, not having control, losing temper, and so on. Usually, when someone hears something unpleasant, it is easier to be angry about. For example, if somebody says something criticizing, just hearing one word of criticism, the person becomes angry. Actually, words do not touch one word of criticism. It doesn't wound, it doesn't cause any bruise or injury physically to the person, but hearing the word of criticism, the person easily gets angry. And then it can even cause dispute, quarrel, fight, and so on. And also with the smell, if there is something that smells bad, like a pungent smell or a burning smell, one can easily get angry. And also with the food, if one gets the food that the person doesn't like, then there can be anger. Also the touch, like the touch of like bitten by a mosquito or an ant, one can get angry. The touch of warm air, hot air, the temperature, also the person gets angry. In this way, if one is not mindful of the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, anger arises, not being mindful. In order to prevent dosa from arising, one should be mindful of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and so on. So long as there is mindfulness, the mind is guarded, protected from dosa, from arising, by being mindful of the presently arising object. And if dosa, anger, arises by lack of mindfulness, as soon as one notices it, as soon as the dosa arises, notice right away, angry, angry. In this way, one should prevent dosa from arising by being mindful. One should cure right away as soon as dosa arises by being mindful as angry, angry. There are 9 things or 10 things that inside dosa. Dosa arises or grudge arises when somebody does or talks in order to hurt the person has done, doing, will do. The action, bodily action or verbal action that cause to hurt. And also that is 3. Yeah? In the past, in the present, in the future, the person has done things to hurt. This is 3. And the person who hurt physically or verbally in the past, in the present, in the future to someone who is beloved to me, that is another 3. Someone who does things for the welfare of my enemy in the past, in the present, in the future. So that is another 3. Altogether makes 9. So these 9 circumstances inside dosa. And another cause that can make 10, it is atthana kopa. Atthana kopa is the kind of anger that arises in things that are beyond one's control. One is angry about things that are not one should have. For example, if one is in pain, one can get angry that this pain doesn't go away quickly. Pain is not a person, it is not a being, it's just the nature that arises based on circumstances. So the kind of anger that arises in dukkha vedana, the kind of anger that arises when experiencing pain or unpleasant feelings, it is also atthana kopa. In order not to let this kind of anger arises, if there is pain, note it with patience, forbearance. Pain, make the effort in noting the pain. Focus your mind on the pain. Putting effort in noting the pain, focusing the mind on the pain. The noting mind sits onto the object, pain. The mind fall calm, collected on the object. Concentration also develops. In this way, keeping continuity of mindfulness and concentration in noting the pain, noting it with patience and forbearance. When the yogi comes to discern the unique individual characteristics in the pain, such as heart pain, stiff pain, heat pain, pressure pain, swelling pain, and so on. In this way, when the yogi comes to discern the unique individual characteristics that are arising at the present moment by noting pain, one cultivates knowledge. One comes to discern that there is a pain which manifests as hard, stiff, heat, pulling, pushing, pressure, and so on. And the noting mind that notes it, there is no other thing except the hardness, stiffness, heat, as well as the mind noting it. There is no person, no being, no person. As the yogi is mindful, then yogi not only see the characteristic, not only see the unique individual characteristics, but yogi also come to see the dissolution. One heat arise, pass away. Another heat arise, pass away. One tension arise, pass away. Another tension arise, pass away. In this way, when the yogi sees the pain itself with its characteristics, as well as one pain arise, pass away, another pain arise, pass away, yogi also come to see the dissolution of the object arising and dissolution, arising and dissolution. In this way, when the yogi comes to see the pain itself, even though it is pain, one's mind will not be angry on the pain, but it is even pleasant to note the pain when the yogi comes to discern the arising and passing away. One pain arise, pass away, another pain arise, pass away. When the yogi gets to this level, yogi comes to cultivate knowledge, understand the pain, and at that stage, yogi even becomes more courageous in the practice. Whatever pain comes, I will notice. So in this way, yogi has more courage, more faith and confidence in the practice. The mindfulness and concentration become stronger. Knowledge becomes stronger. Yogi strive on continuously until yogi reaches the goal in the meditation. Okay, so time is up. This will be all for today. May we all be able to practice smoothly so that our goal in meditation will be attained in this very life before our body breaks, before our life ends.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.